Hey, I'm Ploopp and welcome to this tutorial. This tutorial will be about post-processing. It is something that is widely known in the film industry and something that has also been starting to get really big in the game industry as well. So it is really important for you to understand what post-processing is about. This tutorial will show you the quick pros of post-processing and how fast it is to actually set it up. It does not involve any programming. It's mainly just clicking a couple of things. This is the result that we are going to achieve with today's tutorial. Watch how I toggle the post-processing on and off, and look how much a simple post-processing can do to your game. Of course, this will need to be fine-tuned to your project standards, but this will get you started. Now, if you start from an empty project, make sure to open the package manager, and in the Unity register you will be able to find the universal RP. Download and import this. If you have an existing project, some of your materials might have turned magenta. Make sure to use the RP tool to upgrade the materials. If they still remain magenta, you might have used a custom shader on it, and you will need to do some deeper diving in order to fix it. Now create a new folder named Settings. In here we will store all our RP related settings. Create from rendering the URP asset with the universal renderer. Make sure to toggle post-processing in the URP pipeline renderer asset if it's not by default checked. You can also change the rendering path to deferred if you would like in the same asset. Go to Edit, Project Settings and Graphics. In here assign your newly created settings asset. In the URP Global Settings, assign a newly generated asset as well and drag this new asset into your settings folder. In your hierarchy, create a global volume. Name this Post-Processing. Create a new layer to add this to your newly created game object. Name the layer post-processing as well. Assign this layer to your post-processing game object. In the post-processing, create a new profile. And in the camera settings, make sure that post-processing is checked. In the camera environment settings, make sure that volume mask has the post-processing layer that you just created. In order to test if your post-processing is working properly, add a bloom override to your post-processing. Increase and decrease the intensity by a lot and see the magic happen. I will add the overrides that I need in this particular scene, but for your project you might need different ones. Feel free to tweak the settings until you hit something that feels natural. It is normal during this process to hop back and forth through the settings. For example, when you add the vignette, you might want to turn it off when you are doing color grading or color adjustments in general. And once you're done, you might want to turn it back on again to see how everything is looking. The reason for this is that you want to ensure that the shadows, midtones and highlights all get the proper values. For example, a well-lit area should feel warm, where the shadows should feel cold. Let's say that you're walking outside in the sun and you always want to seek the shadows to cool off because the sun is making it too warm and the shadow is giving you the cold that you might need. The white balance and the color adjustments are very important settings. You'll be tweaking these two a lot and that is okay. Every override has an impact on each other, so make sure to switch back and forth between each override. And to know that you're making progress, make sure to toggle your volume off and on in between to see what a difference it is that you already made. There's also an override named tone mapping. Tone mapping makes a huge difference to your post-processing when you're adding it. Neutral is usually used in more stylized environments and Aces is usually used in more realistic environments. The extended version will explain post-processing settings in a lot more detail. It will also explain the terms that I will be using and what they actually mean. It will also show you how to properly set the settings and what you should be looking at for each specific setting. You'll be able to find the extended version on my Patreon. Thanks for watching!